A lot of criticism over the years from other people outside the government. Daniel Costa, the Economic Policy Institute, a liberal think tank. Some of the sponsors who bring these kids over are also critical of states' past management. They are upset that SWT kids, other kids coming from overseas, not knowing anything about our country or very little, although they all must speak English. They're frequently, or I don't know how frequently, but they are certainly occasionally cheated, taken advantage of, and that is a problem that has been cited by many of those who have looked at the program. Many other kids, I want to point out, are very happy with their experience in the U.S., enjoy it, and like their employers, and are grateful for the chance to be here. I talked with one great Lithuanian kid who told me at Ocean City a few months ago, I had a great time, I'm going back to Lithuania, and I'm going to tell all my friends, because he wants them to come as well. State Department has tolerated visa mills. Visa mills are the sponsoring organizations that aren't really interested in doing any real monitoring work, but they're very interested in collecting the $1,100 in fees. And again, we say this is a $100 million industry because at the low end, the low figure of 100,000 kids a year, you multiply 100,000 kids by an average of $1,100 in fees, that's $110 million. That's a lot of money that's up for grabs for those who can recruit these kids and find them jobs. Big problems with lack of accountability at state. I found this particularly frustrating, as have other reporters. You simply encounter a stone wall when you try to say, give us some information that will allow us to evaluate your performance. What is going on here? What are the effects in job markets? Employers are not required to test their local job market. Other guest worker programs, the employers have to certify, or it has to be established that bringing in foreign workers will not negatively affect American workers. There is no such standard here at all. Employers don't have to approve anything. It would be really good if reporters, journalists, social scientists could be able to evaluate this program. State Department either doesn't have the information or is unwilling, has been unwilling to produce most of it. Again, signs of some change in the past several months under the new direction of Rick Ruth. Also, the concern that they are fixated on visa diplomacy as an ultimate value without taking into consideration effects on American labor markets, and that's another big criticism. SWT creates winners and losers. No surprise there. Some of the winners, well, in theory at least, and I think certainly in practice to some extent, it helps relations and contacts with foreign countries. Most of the kids go back with a positive impression of the U.S. I think a significant, though difficult to quantify minority, are embittered by what they encounter here in terms of exploitation and sometimes actual criminal activity that's directed against them. But they're happy to come to the U.S. American culture has been globalized. Kids want to learn English. It's good for their resumes. They want to travel. You know, they've seen Hollywood. They've seen our sites. They want to see Broadway. They want to see Hollywood. They want to see the Grand Canyon. A lot of kids I've found, for some reason, they love to see Niagara Falls. They go up there in a day and come back the next day. Employers get a real deal. This is a great deal for employers. They get good workers. They tend to be mature workers. Instead of hiring a 16-year-old high school kid who might have issues with his girlfriend, his mom and dad, his football coach, or whatever, you hire more mature foreign kids in their early 20s many times. And so they're good workers, and they come with the advantage of a big tax break. They don't pay these taxes for these kids, and so they pay lower wages. And as we'll talk about a little bit later, some employers are actually taken on free overseas recruiting trips by these sponsoring organizations. You hire a certain number of kids, you get this trip for free. And of course, the sponsoring organizations making the fees that we've talked about. Losers, okay? Young Americans who are displaced. American employers, like Jeff, who prefer to provide jobs to young Americans. Jeff's going to talk about what he has encountered because of SWT competition, and the SWT participants, the kids who are cheated, who are abused, who are abandoned by their sponsors, and sometimes exploited by their employers. I talked yesterday with a Department of Homeland Security investigator who is very concerned about some of these kids being trafficked for sexual purposes. There have been indictments of SWT kids who have been working in concert with computer hackers in the Ukraine who hack into American bank accounts and use these kids to be money mules, taking the money back home. I think in percentage terms, the percentage is small. However, the impact can be big. But I want to emphasize, the great majority of these SWT kids are good kids, but the program, because of lack of proper oversight and careful oversight by state and by sponsors, has been vulnerable to the infiltration of people who want to place some of these young girls in strip clubs. There was a good AP story in December of 2010 about that issue. I have been blown away by the recruitment program that this industry has bred worldwide. And again, it's all driven by this $100 million that's up for grabs there. There are about 50 U.S. sponsors. Every SWT kid has to have an American sponsor, but the sponsors work in large part through their overseas partners, and they have hundreds of them in countries around the world. Remarkable use of social media. You'll see in the appendices here we have links to dozens and dozens of websites and several dozen YouTube videos. There are hundreds of YouTube videos that basically serve as a very attractive advertising tool for SWT. It's really an energetic, robust, and very creative use of the internet to recruit foreign kids. And meanwhile, if you compare that to the efforts to recruit American kids for summer jobs, I mean, it's the Stone Age compared to what is being done to recruit SWT kids. Here is, this is a Moldovan site. They changed their site after our report came out. They did have a real glitzy hip-hop type of animation. They would say, "What's up, dude? See American 3D." This is some of the jobs that they're offering. A lifeguard in D.C. area, counter worker, restaurant worker on Myrtle Beach, grocery clerk in Alaska, cashier in Kentucky, retail in Michigan, food server in Yonkers, New York. I'm not aware of Yonkers, New York being an area that has a labor shortage, but and then a salesperson in multiple locations. There are many of these websites that talk about the availability of jobs all over the place. This is a Thai website. Here you see the early bird promotion. They want to get these kids to sign up early to come to the U.S. You get a discount. If you sign up for the early bird discount, you pay less in your fees. They advertise a job fair. These job fairs. Thai kids apparently really like Kesha. Is it Kesha or Kesha? So this is a really energetic, creative Thai website that talks about how exciting it is to come to the U.S., and Thai kids are loving to come to the U.S. This is a Peruvian site, and the Peruvian kids, a lot of them are recruited to come to work at I changed too soon, at ski resorts. And of course, they're coming in their summer, which is our winter. A lot of these websites talk about, they really sell how much money employers can save by not hiring American kids. Here, you know, they talk about the exemption, the table on the right, you can see. And then they invite you to calculate how much you can save down below. Plug in the number of employees you want, the number of hours you expect to work, and just magically you can see how much money you can save by not hiring American kids. And as the TV pitchman say, but wait, there's more. Employers also get free trips to the overseas, to Europe, Asia, and South America if they hire certain numbers of these kids. And the competition amongst the sponsors to offer these trips is, to me, nothing short of astonishing. Here's a trip that's being offered. Depart USA, arrive in Lima, have a sightseeing tour in Lima, Peru, interviews with students, then Buenos Aires, sightseeing tour there, then to Paraguay, sightseeing tour in Asunción in Paraguay. Oops, I left that too soon. And then to Rio. I mean, nice perk for employers. They not only don't have to do any recruiting on their own, because these recruiting organizations will do it for them, but the recruiting organizations will also say, we'll take you on a free trip to some of the neatest cities in the world. All you got to do is sign up with us. We heard about Satusa being knocked out. Satusa was the sponsor for the kids in Hershey. The State Department debarred them from the program because of their alleged mismanagement. The big winner in the departure of Satusa is a Maryland-based firm that started out as a pool management firm, but saw the big money that's available in summer work and travel, and they are called United Work and Travel. And here is their website where they list their partners, around the world: South America, Africa, plenty in Europe, and a growing number in Asia. One of the largest SWT sponsor talks about 75 partner agencies in 50 different countries, all offering kids eager to come to the U.S.
For the studies used in this video and others, please visit www.cis.org.